In all the brief life of this channel, there's no amusement park locally and has generated more conversation than the park behind me, or at least the ride behind me, which is Silver Comet here at what is now known as Niagara Amusement Park. Now, if you don't know, this park has had quite a traumatic history over the course of the pandemic. It closed. It was much beloved by Grand Islanders, known as Martin's Fantasy Island, then finally as Fantasy Island, before it shuttered its doors in 2020. Thankfully, it reopened last year under the Indiana Beach Group, and this is the second season that it's been running. There's been a lot that's been promised for this park over those years that Indiana Beach Group took over, and much excitement. Unfortunately, a lot of it hasn't come to fruition quite yet, but Silver Comet is running behind me, and they have a handful of rides to complement what they can offer at least this season, and hopefully going forward, more buoyant offering next season. A little bit of a change from last year too. Apparently no on-ride POVs allowed, which is fine. A little curious because the Indiana Beach Group, I know for a fact, does allow for them at Indiana Beach, but that could just be a mixed signal thing. Regardless, I've got plenty of POVs from my prior visits, so I'll definitely insert one of those for continuity's sake, but definitely discuss Silver Comet and how it's running this year, because I just got off of it and actually was quite impressive. All right, let's have a quick look here at what is going on here at Niagara Amusement Park for a late summer day here in 2023. So the first thing to point out here is that unfortunately this whole area is still looking rather dormant. You can actually see people in the distance in the shade because there's not even any spots to sit necessarily in the shade. This offering here in the direct sunlight, but it's not exactly the most convenient. As you see on this side where the Gravitron used to be, formerly known as the Devil's Hole, among a couple other rides, there is now nothing here. And it really kind of just looks like an abandoned campground in a way. Fortunately, not the case when you turn left. Although if you look at Silver Comet, I'm going to have to look at last year's signage, but it looks like their main signage is missing. Part of the new offering this year is a new bumper car called Scooter. In addition to that, you have a flying machine. Really one of the most popular classic type of Midway rides that's popping up in every theme park these days. This is the location of a thrill ride, unfortunately, that is not here anymore. Without question, the attraction that I am the most interested in that has appeared here in the last year is this Pinfari dark ride. I've long suggested that this park is an excellent location for, say, a haunt event, which is long overdue, and when I did bring it up with park management last time, they did say they're working on it. You can get a nice view of this attraction and the work that's going on to it. They're actually building its own permanent building out of the back of this traveling dark ride, so we'll take a look at that in a second, but you can see obviously some of the fixtures and fittings, the turnstile, some of the original artwork and paintings that obviously should be going on inside. I really like the theme of this thing though. It's got a large devil's head that's missing, and I think that would be the head there. It looks really spacious inside though. I've never really seen a traveling dark ride of this size. And to give you an idea, there is actually a creature inside the building there waiting for company. You can actually see the track in there too, but just to the left you can see what looks like some sort of abominable creature of some sort. 3 stories to this ride as well, as you'll notice, so it's a big one. I'm excited if they actually get it running. It looks like they're definitely going to try. To the left of the new Pinfari, or old retro Pinfari funhouse slash dark ride, you have Sea Dragon, one of 2 pirate ships that the park has purchased. Now maybe they actually purchased 2 in order to get the parts necessary for one pirate ship to run successfully? I'm not sure. We'll definitely look at some of the stuff that's in the parking lot at the end of this vlog. You can see the other side of the Pinfari dark ride over there. There is work going on as well. You'll also see a lot more going on beyond these two attractions in the background, as there is more work being done over there. I'll try to get you a good look. As we all know, there is a Wildcat coaster on the other side of the park that is essentially built, just waiting to be completed and to be safe from what it looks like. We'll try to get a ride on the train. You'll get a better view of it over on that side, but you just can't get it on this side, unfortunately. To finish things off in this amusement park section, you have on this side some games. Done with Silver Comet, front seat ride, back non-wheel seat ride. It's running really well, really smooth actually. Carrying the speed excellently throughout the first half of the course. It does slow down a little bit once you get into that second set of turnarounds before you hit that, what is my favorite element on the entire ride, that final turn back towards the station where you really feel those lateral G's right in the center of your stomach. Still taking that excellently, fairly well maintained. You wouldn't know that that ride was actually lying dormant for 2 years. It's as smooth, if not exceptionally smoother than a lot of other rides that I've been on already this season. It is the highlight ride, so you definitely need to make sure it's running well. Now we're gonna go to the other side of the park because I'm done over there already after 20 minutes. So we're just gonna check out the lay of the land, give you an idea what the park looks like this year. We'll head back over to Silver Comet, get one more ride in, and that's kind of it for our little adventure here at Niagara Amusement Park for the day. The Wild West show is going on today at 3:30 and 5:30. Unfortunately, because we're going to another park, we can't actually check it out. This is brand new for this year, as you can tell. And then of course Western Town, very famous. We try to see as much as we can about what's changed here. The barbecue barn, one of the restaurants, has reopened on this side. You kind of see that it is a mess halls type of situation. The Golden Nugget was open last year, and it remains open this year. Really just a game center. However, you can now get some beer. This is going to be a competitor for the Laurent Saloon that I love so much. In fact, it has the very same feel, and it is also super cold in here. So if you're looking for a little bit of relief. I also like the fact that the stage and everything is still kind of set up, i.e. a show could break out at any moment. Carrying on through the very popular western town that looks like it's been fully revitalized and not too refreshed. It doesn't look like it's been rebuilt. It's still got a bit of character to it, which is nice. The general store is open. Ooh, and there's some Niagara Amusement Park hoodies over on that side. And of course you have the jail. We're going to sneak out of jail before they find out that we did. You can't have a western town without Caribbean ice. There was a little bit that we captured last year when we visited. This year, unfortunately, we have to go to another park that we missed last year. But we'll be back, western town. As noted, 3:30 and 5:30. So I highly recommend it if you are here. But what we'll do now, of course, is follow the yellow brick road. You can see some of the old pavilion buildings that are still waiting for a new lease on life. They really did realize the carousel very well again. It's one of the best features of this park and how it's situated, and very picturesque. See, there is a good complement of rides for the kids. No shortage in that regard. Including the original Storybook Village that still is going strong here. And of course, was the original reason why this park exists. Being in a park that's not overly run, although we want to see this park successful, so it definitely needs some people are a little bit better business. It is a Wednesday, so it's not terrible. I've never hit this here.
This is the story of Pinocchio. Kindly old Geppetto sat at his workbench and carved out a puppet that looked just like a real boy. Geppetto was lonely and always wanted a boy of his own. Late that night.
The only problem is there's no actual animatronics in there, so it doesn't really add to the story that much. Not on anyone's radar, and I'm sure not really on global radar, but we have a junior coaster and a new credit that's being built at this park that I didn't know about. I'm going to have to do a little research to find out, because this park did not have this ride in storage last year, so it must be newly purchased, but they're getting it up and running. A lot of these rides, curiously enough, they're still putting the work in to try to get them running and built. No hurry on this one, however. But the point is that we are in the, business end and the back end of the season here, being mid-August, but they're still putting the effort towards getting these rides up and running. So that's a good sign from the park and Indiana Beach Group itself. I would say there's no shortage of children's rides here, though. The park is loaded. You name it, they've already got it. So there's really no need for children's rides here anymore. It's really just an adult ride offering. The train is loading. We're going to try to get on it, and then we'll continue this tour out of the children's zone once we get on this train. case you're interested in mini golfing here, it's free of charge. Not overly popular today, however. Another look at this new coaster. It'll be nice when they do get it running and then they have 3 credits in this park, which would bring it right back to where it was before it closed. I know I said it the last time I did this train trip through this section of the park, but so much missed opportunity for a haunted train, I'm telling you. It would be incredible. They even have one over in the distance that you can see right there. We're now at the other side and the turnaround point for the train. And it looks like hopefully we'll maybe be able to capture some Silver Comet action, depending on how quickly we turn around. However, on this side of the park, you can get a good glimpse of all the other attractions that they've been working on. The old Acrobat Theater is still intact. You can see in the background the Galaxy Coaster as well. The Midway Plaza, as you can see, some concessions and stuff that are being worked on. We have another classic ride here, which I'm not even sure what that actually is. I'm not familiar with it. And now we return for a great opportunity to capture some action on Silver Comet. We're not going to get that lift hill in time, but we're going to be close. He's going to try to pick it up a bit for us, I think, in order to capture it. We got a good conductor. Done with the train ride. It is definitely worth it if you plan on coming here. I think I only ever do the train ride and Silver Comet, so I stick to the rails when I come to visit Niagara Amusement Park. I've realized that I've never actually taken this path in particular back to Silver Comet, so I'm going to take this alternative route back over to the back of the park. We'll get one more ride on the star attraction, and then we'll wrap up the vlog here at Niagara Amusement Park. It's a bit of an alternative route. Most people head straight for Western Town, but if you come back to this area, you can actually go around the lagoon and past the picnic areas. There is plenty of room for improvement and new rides in this park. This is literally like a roller coaster tycoon player's dream as far as the scenario is concerned. There's plenty of land. There's some rides that need some TLC, some that maybe will never run, like that Schwarzkopf in the parking lot that we'll see later. But other than that, it lacks nothing as far as atmosphere and natural beauty. This bridge is new, so it certainly looks like they're putting some work into the park from an infrastructure standpoint, because at the moment there is literally nothing on this side of the path or this side of the park. Other than the train bridge that we just traveled across. And as you can see, we're back on the other side and there's just nothing but land, nothing but opportunity here at Niagara Amusement Park. That is the first full-ish train of Silver Comet I've seen go around as well all day. They're gonna get a good ride. We're gonna head out of the park now, get a quick look at the parking lot and what's going on with the attractions that have been sitting there for some time. The Scrambler, which wasn't actually running when I came in, is now running. I've been on 3 in the past week, so I'm gonna take a pass on the Scrambler, but it's working, which is great. To see, we're gonna head out, like I said. I'll give you a brief recap of what I've seen here, and then we'll be done for the day here at Niagara Amusement Park. I just want to say hello to Elise and Paul, who I met here in the park, and had a great chat with everyone really here. It's a very family-friendly vibe. No sort of bells and whistles, if you will. It's just a straightforward experience that you definitely should take part of if in the area. There is but one last order of business for us to take care of before we leave for our next destination. If you're curious, that would be Seabreeze in Rochester, New York. First time visiting in 4 years. However, for those of you that follow the channel, you may know that this park has had in storage for some time some Midway, Carnival, and Amusement Park, Theme Park, whatever you want, classics. Some of which have finally found a home, if in piecemeal form, inside the park itself. However, the most talked about and most debated is, of course, right before us, which is the Schwarzkopf shuttle loop coaster that sadly still sits here dormant. Now, we don't cross the line as per discussion last time with park management, that we respect the boundaries, so we won't go inside to have a look at the track. This, of course, is the formerly known as Laser Loop from Kennywood Park, and it's had many other names in its travels over the years. I will say that it doesn't appear like anything has moved since the last time I was here, however. So, is this coaster ever going to be built? I'd hate to say that it's probably a safe bet, that it more than likely will not be. 9 ton. But I know there's a lot of people in the world that seriously hope that it does, because the forces offered on this classic style of launch coaster are just not available now anywhere else. Now, I include these shots just for any experts that recognize some of this machinery and equipment as maybe indicative of a future for this ride at some point. It's getting close to being one of the only left of its kind, with the loss of Montezuma's last year at Knott's Berry Farm. Now, beyond this ride, there is still some water slide components left over from a themed water slide that they still haven't built here. And then finally, on this side you have what was once identified as a Huss top spin. And then obviously another pirate ship here as well. And then these arms, it looks like there's an old school orbiter here as well. And I'm not entirely sure what that construction is in the background. But there's not much left here. Most of these, there was a lot more pieces that have actually made their way into the park now. And finally, for some curiosity, there is some more components for what looks like, actually this looks like the pirate ship. These gray supports are definitely for the pirate ship. And that is it. If you ever want to come to a museum for amusement park rides, well, this might be the one for you. And that is the grand tour of the parking lot here, the most fascinating parking lot in the amusement industry today. What possibilities? All I'll say, no new additions, which is sad to see. Ow, ow! Nice little time here for a couple hours at Niagara Amusement Park. No complaints. Very similar experience to what I was offered last year. It is $29.99, $29.95, so basically $30 flat American to get into this park, which I think is a reasonable offering if you're going to actually take advantage of the water park. It's a great value. You get mini golf, free parking. Unlike some of the other smaller parks that I've experienced this past week or two, where it can get upwards to $100 American just to get into the park, we're really offering a very affordable option here at Niagara Amusement Park that you should definitely take advantage of if you're interested. Silver Comet running excellently. In fact, I would have to say that's probably the best that I've ever experienced at ride. So it's really a top-notch ride. If you're in the area, you definitely should get down here and try it. It's getting close to running as well as, say, Ravine Flyer 2 to give a local reference, but it's definitely running way better than the 3 roller coasters in my home park just on the other side of Lake Ontario, Canada's Wonderland. Nowhere near are they running as well as Silver Comet is. Not much retracking done to it from what I could see from last year, but for some reason it's just come into its own and it's running very well. So definitely don't miss it if you're in the area. Other than that, the park definitely needs to get a couple more adult attractions ready to bring someone like myself back. I've come here every year since it's reopened, but if they don't unfortunately get anything else open, say for next season, I don't really see a real point in coming back until they do so. But that being said, they're doing their best. It certainly looks so, and who knows, maybe 2 or maybe even next season, there'll be 2 to 3 new credits to actually get into my docket here at Niagara Amusement Park. All right, guys, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for dropping in.